Since the creation of Pakistan in 1947 up to September 2025, the struggle for women's rights has remained trapped in a cycle of violence, political oppression, and social deception. This account preserves the horrifying experiences of women who endured murder, abuse, and illegal detention merely for daring to challenge patriarchal traditions or political authority. Each documented event, drawn from verified reports, reveals the vast and persistent scale of gender-based violations, from honor killings that claim over 1,000 lives annually to enforced disappearances in conflict zones and politically motivated arrests of dissenting voices. These stories, ranging from the suspicious death of Fatima Geena to the recent abductions of female political workers from the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf Party, form a powerful portrait of courage and resistance that stands out against the backdrop of state negligence and impunity. This record carries both professional gravity and emotional weight, calling for accountability, reform, and recognition of the fearless spirits of these women. Fatima Geena, born in 1893 in Karachi, organized women during the Pakistan movement and founded the All Pakistan Women's Association to address the refugee crisis after independence. In the 1965 presidential election, her campaign against Ayub Khan saw significant urban success, but was marred by electoral fraud and defamation, as she was labeled a power-hungry woman. After her death on July 9, 1967, visible marks on her body during the funeral sparked suspicions of murder and public demands for investigation, which the state suppressed. It became the first major example of silencing a woman's political strength in Pakistan. In 1971, during the Bangladesh Liberation War, Pakistani forces subjected an estimated 200,000 to 400,000 Bengali women to systematic rape and torture, using sexual violence as a weapon of ethnic cleansing. Thousands of victims suffered injuries or took their own lives, while social stigma silenced them further. The Hamuda Rahman Commission acknowledged these atrocities, yet justice was never served, leaving a wound that continues to stain the nation's collective memory. Benazir Bhutto, following the execution of her father Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, endured years of house arrest and psychological torture under General Zia's regime from 1979 to 1984. Her secret letters smuggled from prison inspired the democratic movement, and as Pakistan's first female prime minister, she became a symbol of democracy. However, on December 27, 2007, her life ended in Rawalpindi through a suicide attack and gunfire. The United Nations report later questioned state security failures and possible links between militant and government forces, yet justice remains unfulfilled. Asma Jahangir, founder of the Women's Action Forum and a GHS legal aid cell, fought against Azia's hudud laws and defended women subjected to sexual violence. She was arrested multiple times, faced physical assault, and endured death threats. But as a UN representative, she exposed extrajudicial killings. Her struggle became a beacon of justice for Pakistan's daughters. Hina Jalani, who co-founded Pakistan's first all-female law firm and established the Dastak Women's Shelter, faced imprisonment, threats, and intimidation. Yet she remained steadfast in supporting women, refugees, and later represented the UN to expose enforced disappearances on a global scale. On April 6, 1999, Samia Sprawa, seeking divorce from an abusive husband, was murdered by a hired killer sent by her family at her lawyer's office. Asma Jahangir and Hina Jalani narrowly survived the attack. No one was arrested, but the incident triggered global outrage and led to reforms addressing honor-based killings. Dr. Afia Siddiqui was allegedly abducted from Karachi with her children on July 17, 2008, and endured 5 years in secret CIA detention under torture before being sentenced in the U.S. to 86 years in prison following a controversial trial. Reports of her abuse and deteriorating condition repeatedly surfaced, turning her case into a symbol of national outrage and the failure of justice. On July 13, 2008, in Babakat, Baluchistan, 5 women, including 3 teenage girls, were kidnapped and buried alive by orders of a provincial minister's brother after refusing arranged marriages. Arrests came late, and parliamentary defenses exposed both tribal cruelty and state failure. In January 2020, in Quetta, a young girl named Maria was handed to an influential senator as home, despite being under court protection. Despite the cancellation of his bail, no enforcement action followed, reflecting the entrenched immunity of the elite. On February 21, 2023, in Barkan, Baluchistan, the bodies of 1 woman and 2 men were recovered from a well near a provincial minister's house. They had allegedly been imprisoned in a private dungeon. Witnesses faced threats, and the accused was granted bail, prompting condemnation from the Human Rights Commission. From May 9, 2023, to September 2025, thousands of women associated with the PTI were detained following protests after Imran Khan's arrest. They faced physical and psychological torture, solitary confinement, and denial of medical care. Among them, Dr. Yasmin Rashid, a cancer survivor and president of PTI Punjab, was sentenced to 10 years in prison. and the inhumane jail conditions severely worsened her health. Sanam Javed Khan suffered 14 months of illegal imprisonment and alleged torture. Despite courts declaring her arrests unlawful, detentions continued. Taya Boraja, abducted alongside her, endured 9 months of captivity and abuse before receiving bail due to lack of evidence. Bushra Bibi, the wife of Imran Khan, was sentenced to 7 to 14 years in corruption and marriage-related cases, kept in isolation, and reportedly poisoned. Shirun Mazari, former Minister for Human Rights, was arrested 5 times, with 1 arrest later declared illegal by the court. Aliyah Hamza Malik faced repeated arrests and home raids while her children were harassed. In September 2025, Falik Javed Khan was abducted and charged under cybercrime laws, held in remand for 5 days without access to her family. On June 4, 2025, in Dagorai, Baluchistan, a young woman named Baino was killed in an honor-related attack for marrying by choice. Holding the Quran in her hands, she pleaded, "Kill me, but do not go beyond this." The video of her killing went viral, leading to 13 arrests, though tribal councils still exert influence. Pakistani women continue to face relentless oppression. In 2024 alone, 547 honor killings were reported. Political repression, particularly after 2023, has weaponized imprisonment and torture to silence women. Enforced disappearances, from the war of 1971 to present-day Baluchistan, have darkened countless lives. Discriminatory laws and elite immunity intensify these yet figures, like Asma Jahangir, Benazir Bhutto, and the imprisoned PTI women remain symbols of defiance and hope. The abduction of Falik Javed in September 2025 stands as the latest scar in this ongoing story. The time has come for genuine investigations, strict enforcement of law, and amplification of the voices of those silenced. As Hina Jalani once said, "Anger at injustice demands action." These stories must mark the beginning of a future where no woman is forced to live in fear.